Art of Seduction, how to create desire through your 5 senses. Hey, my gorgeous angels, and welcome back to the Look at Me Now podcast, where we don't just talk about transformation, we embody it. Where confidence isn't something you chase, it's something you become. And today, we are going deeper, softer, stronger, and more magnetic. We're stepping in to your seductive energy. Not the kind that the world has taught you, not performance, not pressure, not perfection, but real seduction. The kind that comes from presence, the kind that comes from self-trust, the kind that comes from being so deeply connected to your body, your energy, your essence, that people feel you before you even speak. And here is the truth that most people don't realize. Seduction is sensory. It's psychology, right? It's embodied. It's, it's not a trick or some kind of game. Attraction is a nervous system activation. And desire is felt. It's not forced. So when it's forced, we don't feel it the same. So today, what we're diving into is to activate all 5 senses, to create chemistry, connection, and that undeniable pull. With a partner, or honestly, just with yourself. Because you create desire with yourself first. So why not have a love affair with your life? Because when you learn how to turn yourself on to life, everything changes. Your whole world opens up. Everything feels better, right? And it's not about perfection. This is not about, looking a certain way. This is about really embodying, romanticizing life, embodying your life, appreciating your body, getting into the body and out of the head. So first, let's talk about the science of desire. So before we get into the 5 senses, let's ground this in something real. Attraction is not random. There's actual science behind why someone feels drawn to you. When you create a sensual experience just by being yourself, right? You are activating dopamine, serotonin, feel-good chemicals in the brain. Like dopamine is anticipation, excitement, craving. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. It makes you feel emotional safety and closeness. Serotonin, confidence, mood, presence. And of course, those pleasure-pleasing endorphins that give us that feel-good energy. And this is why a certain song can make you feel something, or a certain scent reminds you of someone every time you smell it, or a certain look gives you the butterflies, or, because your brain is wiring association plus emotion plus memory. It's really cool. And think about a time when you've smelled something or heard something and it reminded you of someone. There's a concept in neuroscience called Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together wire together. So when someone experiences you alongside pleasure, safety, beauty, or intrigue, it creates a deeper bond, right? They begin to associate you with that feeling of pleasure, safety, beauty, intrigue. That feeling, that is seduction. So, it's not just about, what we think of traditional seduction, like seducing someone. It's just It could be seducing your own life, right? Having pleasurable experiences, romanticizing your life. It's not manipulation, but intentional, emotional experience. So let's stop right here and do one little journal, or you can think about it or voice note it. When do I feel most alive in my body? When do you feel most alive in your body? What environments make me feel confident, soft, or magnetic? Is it a fancy hotel? Is it the ocean? Is it the mountains? Is it, what is it? Is it somewhere homey? The country? What version of me naturally draws people in? What version of you naturally draws people in? So let's get to the senses. Sight, visual energy is your first impression. Let's talk about what people see, because your visual presence is your first energetic signal. And this is where a lot of women get it wrong. They think seduction equals showing more. But that's not necessarily true. Seduction equals revealing strategically. So a shoulder, a collarbone, the curve of your waist, the way fabric moves on your body can be very seductive. And these same things are true for men, right? It's about inviting curiosity. That how you're dressed, and it could be different and revealing energy. It's just what you feel comfortable with, right? It's different for everybody. So now let's go to an actionable strategy, the 3-layer look. And women, this is a great way to create visual intrigue with layers. Number 1, base, fitted, flattering, body aware, like what I'm wearing under this kaftan, okay? Layer, jacket, robe, wrap, something removable, and then details, heels, jewelry, lip gloss, hair done. And you don't have to, I don't have any makeup on, you don't have to go all out. This can be very simple, but you're not just dressed, you're unfolding. And ladies, watch how this just changes your energy in your own mind and in your own body. You just start feeling you just start feeling good, right? Because you're taking the time to romanticize your life. Visual attraction activates the occipital lobe in the brain, the reward system in the brain. So when paired with novelty, something slightly unexpected, dopamine spikes. And that's why effortless but intentional is so powerful. So let's talk about this. Think about this. What do I wear when I feel most confident? What do you wear? What makes you feel the most confident? What textures, colors, or silhouettes make you feel your best? What textures, colors, or silhouettes make you feel your best? All right, now let's talk about sound. It's something so underrated. Your voice, your tone, your rhythm, because your voice directly impacts someone's nervous system. Fast, high-pitched, anxious energy creates tension. Slow, grounded, warm tone, that creates safety and intrigue. So here's an actionable strategy that I used to not understand. Slow the room down. I used to think, what is this about? When they want you to walk slower, or, reading Robert Greene's books. But what it means is, try this today. First, let's talk about the actionable strategy. Speak 10 to 15% slower than usual. Speak 10 to 15% slower than usual. Pause. Let's do an actionable strategy. Slow the room down. Try this. Speak 10 to 15% slower than usual. Pause before responding and let your words land, and watch what happens? People lean in, and it's because you're becoming grounded, and that creates warmth. It's not just about slowing down, right? It's what you're actually creating by slowing down. Lower, slower vocal tones activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest, relax, connect state. If you've heard, rest and digest. So this is exactly where attraction can thrive, because we're releasing anxiety and we're activating that restful part of the nervous system. Silence is seductive. Don't rush to fill the space. I used to do this all the time. But no rushing to fill the space equals and signals confidence. So just let the silence go. All right, another journal prompt. Do I rush when I speak? What would I feel like to trust my presence? What would it feel like to trust my presence without over-explaining? And you can just voice note this or write it down, think about it. All right, now we're talking about smell, your secret weapon. Because scent bypasses logic and goes straight to the limbic system, the emotional brain. And that's why someone can smell something and suddenly they remember a person, a place, a moment, a memory, and be filled with nostalgia or, miss that person or that event. So this is our signature scent identity. Pick a scent profile that feels like your energy. Warm and cozy is vanilla and amber. I definitely pick these scents the most because I like to be warm and cozy. Fresh and clean, citrus, linen. Bold and sensual is musk and sandalwood. Calming is lavender. So think about, what scent is yours. I know one of my mentors, they go to Paris and where they get their own signature scent created, So maybe you might do that one day for fun. But wear it consistently, Go in Sephora and try on a bunch of different scents. You're creating a sensory signature. And you know what's so interesting? Do this for yourself, just for fun. Do it to make you happy. Scent is directly tied to emotional memory encoding, meaning it sticks longer than visual or auditory cues. So here's what I want you to think about. What do you want people to feel when they're around you? And what scent matches that energy? What scent matches the energy that you want people to feel around you? And maybe that's why I like vanilla and amber, because I want them to feel cozy and cuddly and cuddle up with me. From my kids to my man to, my friends, I want to cuddle. Now let's talk about touch. Touch begins before any actual contact. It starts with how you exist in your body. Are you tense? Are you anxious? Are you closed off? Are you disconnected? For me, it would have been frenetic energy 6 months or a year ago. Or are you fluid? Are you relaxed? Are you aware? And yoga can really help with this, Pilates as well. So here's an actionable strategy, micro movement awareness. Start here. Relax your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Move your hands slowly. Be intentional with your gestures. And one of my favorite people does this at Bodies in Motion Yoga Studio. And I love the way she does it. She's signaling, I'm comfortable, I'm present, I'm safe in myself. And it makes everyone in the room feel safe and loved and special. Physical proximity and light touch, increase oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Even subtle cues can build emotional closeness. So here's some questions to think about. You can write it down, voice note it, or just think about it in your head. Do I feel at home in my body? Do you feel at home in your body? And what would it feel like to move with intention in my body instead of tension, instead of, frenetic energy, instead of anxiety? What would it feel like to move well in my body? Now let's talk about taste, the experience of pleasure. Taste is about indulgence, slowing down and savoring. And I love delicious food. So here's an actionable strategy. Romanticize the moment. Sip slowly. Put your Gatorade or your, put it in a wine glass, or your orange juice or whatever. Sip slowly. Even if you're not drinking champagne. Eat intentionally. Let yourself enjoy without rushing, because that's where you're embodying pleasure and you're teaching your body to slow down and enjoy taste. And you're giving others permission to feel it too. Slowing down enhances dopamine. It enhances sensory awareness. It increases perceived pleasure. And what you'll notice, a great byproduct of this, is you won't overeat, because you're actually stopping and tasting it and enjoying it. So you get full faster because you're slowing down. So, do you rush through experiences? Really think about this. Do you rush through experiences? Where can you slow down and savor more? Where can you slow down and savor more? Now, let's talk about the real truth. You are the vibe. So here's the secret. None of this works if you don't feel connected to yourself. Seduction is not about trying harder. It's about being fully present in your body, in your energy, in your truth. So whether that's through meditation, through prayer, through your closeness with God, through your closeness with yourself, through movement, there's so many ways to appreciate the 5 senses that we were created to enjoy. And when you trust yourself, when you move with intention, when you feel your worth, when you slow down and smell, taste, feel, hear, embody your life. You don't chase attention. You attract it. And let me say this clearly. You can be seductive at any age, at any size, at any height, at any stage of life. Because this is energy. It's not about perfection. It's not about a certain look, right? This is about enjoying your life, embodying yourself, appreciating yourself, and appreciating God that gave you your 5 senses, and learning how to be in your body. You're really not learning how to seduce. You're really becoming a woman who feels deeply, who moves intentionally, who trusts her presence, who creates experiences. So let's do this final journal prompt. You can voice note it. You can think about it while you're driving or walking. What would my life look like if I fully embodied my sensual, confident self? How would I walk, speak? How would I show up differently? How would I show up differently? If this episode spoke to you, if you felt something shift, that is your next level calling you. Enjoy your life.
Could see that you're good enough. Try to